My name is Debo, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of GetFundedAfrica. And GetFundedAfrica is a platform that turbocharges African startups and helps them to work with the rest of the world, actually. So this is actually something that we do, and this is how we work. It's been an interesting journey because the whole story of GetFundedAfrica started a long time ago, although the actualization happened a bit more recently. About 17 years ago, I remember that I started a company. At that time, the company was trying to help people gain access to information via books. So it was very similar to Amazon at that time, and it was focused on Africa. So essentially, we were selling books, trying to provide information. As much as I loved what we were doing at that time, we could only get to a certain level in the business because we needed institutional capital, venture capital, to take things to the next level. Fast forward, 17 years later, and that problem actually still exists. It's been more around how can you actually solve the problems, what have other countries in Asia, other countries in Europe, other countries in America, what have they actually done to solve these problems that they've had? And it's always been via innovation, it's always been by technology and things like that. And so GetFundedAfrica came into being essentially to help spur innovation and technology and solve problems across the African continent and societies. So we like to say that we are the sidekick of great and innovative founders in order to solve problems and create a better society and better lives for people across the continent and by extension across the world. For me, I've done both, right? And there's no one that is better. All of them are actually very important. On the one hand, I have worked for many companies in the past. I started my career in a bank. I studied accounting in the university, and so I have a finance-related background. And so when I graduated from university, the very first place that I worked in was a bank in the investment and institutional banking group. From the bank, I moved to KPMG. I believe in collaboration, and so whether you're working as an employee or working for yourself, I think the important thing is the ability to see how things can be better for the group as a collective. So this is the second part of your question of what inspires me. A lot of times it's just that ability to get things done and for there to be movement in our collective humanity. For human beings over time, whenever we do certain things, we move forward as a society. In terms of ease of doing business, many of them also have, different items that you have to kind of like go through and all. Generally speaking though, across the continent, there's a push towards the legal ease of doing business or the legal ease of registering a business. So registering a business is becoming progressively easier across many of the countries. However, you still have challenges in many countries as well in order to actually register a business. But as I said, it's generally getting easier. Now, in terms of doing business, there are many challenges in there. The size of the continent is so huge that sometimes it's a bit difficult to leverage economies of scale. A lot of times you find this unique to African startups. They always have to have built-in resilience because a lot of the infrastructure that you need is not available. You have to literally build your own infrastructure. You want to run a business and you have to think of things like your energy costs. So in other countries, you would have regular power supply. But in many parts of Africa, you run your office and you also have to think of buying, a renewable energy option like solar. It does allow you to be very inventive and creative. And so many African founders typically can deal with a lot of chaos because, they have to have that focus to run their business. And then there are a lot of things that in many other parts of the world, you don't even have to think about or even deal with. But, as an African founder, you have to. So on the one hand, there's the legal aspect of running a business, which, as I said, is getting better. And then on the second hand is the actual mental resilience required to actually run a business in Africa. The flip side, though, is that because of these challenges, there's a lot of opportunity for many founders to create many things. And when you have a product that has, good market fit, typically what then happens is that you have acceleration and growth that takes off very, very quickly. It's important to have a strong team because if you're trying to fix it on your own, you will burn out. So having a strong team of people that can help with all these challenges, so whether it is logistics, whether it is infrastructure, whether it is strategy, whether it is focus, is very key. So for an African startup or for African startups that we work with, one of the things that we look for is the team, because that team has to have built-in resilience to be able to do business in Africa and by extension take that business, focus on it, and actually grow that business across the world. Because someone somewhere is looking for that solution that they provide. The flip side is that the ability to do all of that together and have that built-in resilience also means that these African startups that are doing well and have good market fit can scale at such a size and speed that you would not expect a regular organization to do. Orbit is, and the evolutions of Orbit is pretty much the largest VC investor in emerging and frontier markets in the world. So for us, we were looking for a partner. It wasn't just the money, but we're looking for a partner that could actually help and advise us as to how to scale. So GetFundedAfrica is a unique organization in the sense that we're trying to do something that hasn't been done, something that in the current evolution is slightly different from what currently exists. So we're doing a lot of heavy lifting in bringing together startups from across Africa, which very few people had done before. It's been done in other continents, by the way. It's been done in other places before, but in Africa, it hadn't been done. And so Orbit saw the ability to bring and unleash this entire ecosystem. And I think this is what we were looking for. We're looking for a partner that could actually help us to unlock the potential in Africa. So Orbit Startups is a perfect partner for us because, first of all, they understand exactly what we're trying to achieve. They've worked with other startups from around the world and can actually provide the necessary advice and clarification that we require. Yeah, so basically it's just been an interesting time, and it's to emphasize they've been the perfect partner to unleash the potential of African startups. Now, don't forget, it's not just investment. African founders also need mentorship. African founders also need coaching. African founders also need connection to large global corporate organizations. And so through GetFundedAfrica, we're able to connect African founders to funding, to skills, to mentors, to multiple aspects. It's the excitement of actually getting to talk to different people about what is happening in Africa. I keep on using the word unleash. We're unleashing Africa to the world, and GetFundedAfrica is the conduit through which we're actually going to do that. So excited about Demo Day, looking forward to it, looking forward to the partners that we will have discussions with, and all the things that we'll do together.